Rouser, Rick, the Baroness, Linda, Osview. Rouser, can you confirm that you can hear me, please? Hi, Linda. I just need a sound check just to make sure that I'm coming through. Okay. Awesome. Great. There's our Sonia. Uh, one of these days, I'm going to invite Sonia into the live, and Sonia's going to accept it. I don't know when that is, but I think it'll happen. Let's see if we have anybody new. Rita Casey is new, and the Baroness is new. Robert, Scott, Jared, Jeff, Isabella, and Kayla Rutledge Page. Yeah, let's get the bad one in here.
All right.
Fuck, your garage is open again.
Oh, yeah. Hold on a sec.
Oh, Rick, I don't do that to you just because. I don't do that to you for any other reason than just because.
Hey, it's good. It's all good. I am A-okay.
Are you sure about that?
Well, yeah, as good as I can sense my own feet are still attached to my body. Yes. Yeah, I'm all here. So.
Oh, yeah, I read your article, by the way, Rick. That was really well done.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I think it was an interesting piece to get done on, especially when I got to the recession odds stuff, because it's not, that's never something you want to go too far out on a limb with.
No. I'm going to say, by the way, Zoe, the reason I did that to you is because two of the people in the room, and I don't mean the electronic room, have been threat hunters for about 30 years. The senior manager of threat hunting for a company is not literally 15 feet away from me. And I've been in the info security field for 30 years. So, I mean, trying to invite you, Zoe, was meant mostly to be conciliatory. Wait, do we have Wendy Parker? Yeah, let's bring Wendy. Let's bring Wendy in here. Let's hope. Because before we get started, I have an announcement to make for everybody. I need to do a favor for you, by the way, Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a favor for you. There's Wendy Parker. So the publication announcement I want to make before we start talking about shit is, we're gonna start the merch market. So we're gonna start making Wendy the Druid t-shirts.
Nice.
So I have a t-shirt vendor. And the Wendy the Druid logo is like, I don't know if anyone's actually ever paid attention to it, but it is super rainbow gay, queer. I think I have the queerest logo of all of the logos on Substack. That's just anyway. So, I'm going to carry large, extra large, double X, and triple X in sizes, and so, for founding members get a free T-shirt. Paid subscribers, monthly and yearly, get a 20% discount on the shirts. And then Uh, oh my God, we have a geeky trans woman that's joined. Uh, okay. I might have to. I might have Geraldine. I might have to coach you out into the live because I'm the only trans woman that comes on the live sessions, and it's sad. Anyway, so the shirt. So if you're a monthly or yearly paid sub, you get a 20% discount on you get a 20% discount on the shirt, just like you'd get a 20% discount on the book when I release the books, which is coming in June. By the way, I'm pretty close to that. My House of Pain will probably hit paper and binding by June. That's my projected.
Oh,
Uh,
that's good.
Yeah.
right. So just Ellen up on the T-shirt, nothing for a skinny bitch. Well, look, I mean, Miranda, the initial order. I mean, you're gonna get a large. Just deal with it. It's a long shirt. Wear leggings. Do what the fuck I do. Um.
I'm unhappy with this thing. I'm unhappy with my cable connection, and I've been through it with these people. And okay,
Well,
sorry.
you're totally clear right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
It's
you're
one of
clear,
the first times ever.
you're clear, and and it's good. Um.
Good.
Yeah, you're all good. All right, Rick. Can I drop you? I want to try to coax this one out.
Yeah.
We're we have shit to talk about. Okay. So here I'm gonna try to here we go. I'm gonna try to coax one. Because I'm weird and crazy like that. Uh, we'll see what happens. If not, then we'll start with Miranda. Miranda can bitch about how I'm not getting her the right shirt. Fuck you, Miranda. Miranda, you're a bitch. I shouldn't say that to my editor because my editor treats me very nicely. She really does.
A good editor is hard to find, my friend.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? Anyway, all right. So let's go right into it. Um, uh, uh, today's shit was really not fun to write. I have to tell you. Um, so uh, oh hi, Muddy. How are you doing? Okay, so maybe Geraldine is not going to be coach. So we'll start with Miranda. Here we go. You better fucking accept this time. Don't be dodging me and shit. Yeah, I'll just message her on Discord.
Oh, speaking of that, I'm talking to a friend of mine. Well, I was on Signal from Canada. She's from Alberta, and of course, she's watching the elections very closely. Apparently, Alberta is like a giant Texas, where she's very much in the minority. But um, I'm hearing good things. I'm hearing that the right person is slated to win this. The not the conservative guy, the liberal guy. I'm sorry.
I have heard with respect to Canada that young Canadians um lean right versus old Canadians. And I if somebody's from Canada, can you please confirm that? But
Mark Carney, Rick. Yeah, thanks, Rick.
yeah, Miranda's being difficult. Miranda's uh, being a tit. Yeah, so I can somebody from
Oh yeah, it was
oh
awful.
yeah, Trump says I run the country and I run the world. Which was completely baselessly asinine.
Batshit crazy. Let's just
Yeah, I run the but here's the thing. Polling came out today there are 72% of polled Americans think that he's fucking the economy.
Well, welcome to
Because
the world, folks.
well, because he is. Oh, and get this. And then the other big thing that came out today was um another Democrat in the House filed articles. The guy from Michigan filed articles of impeachment on Trump again. So now it's like a daily thing. Some other random Democrat is going to continue to uh, uh, yeah, I don't know, Rick. Here, I'm bringing you back um, so that we can talk because Rick, Rick, I haven't had you in like 3 days. So yeah, 72%.
If they only got a
The other
brain.
28%, do they not give a shit? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I get more and more fascinated by the, as I'm reading the different studies and results of going back to the November period and all the way forward to now. It's like there is such a huge group of people that go beyond just the most recent poll who are honestly very, very, very disengaged with what's happening. I mean, they have an ostrich like um, approach to life. I guess I'm not really sure, and I don't fully understand why. Other than I think they've altogether perhaps written off government as a topic that interests them, and they're just sort of like, well, whatever will happen. Right? They take this very um, inevitable tone about it, and that for me is just uh, one of the things I've been thinking about. Would love to hear your thoughts on Wendy. Wendy would be, you know, um, I watch a lot, as you do. I'm sure you read a lot, and you probably have seen the occurrence of the word revolution much more frequently as time goes on. As we've gotten to this 100-day mark, there's a lot of people who are talking about it and talking about it more openly. And the question I have is, like, when I look at the protests, I go, hey, um, those were well attended, but not nearly the 3.5% that are necessary to as a proven thing to enact real change. We're well below that threshold. You have to be at that 3.5%. It seems is the magic tipping point for most things to occur. So I wonder why. Why do we have such a high? The first is the why, but the goal is to get to the what do we do about it, to get people off the couch and back into the game. And does it require that super painful all the way headlong into recession experience? I mean, I don't know. I'd love your thoughts on how you think.
So yeah, uh, so I have a whole shtick about this. So because I have surgery tomorrow, I've already prepped the voices and actions posts for tomorrow. Um, but I'll just read through tomorrow's voices post because I'm not going to be in any frame of mind to do a live session tomorrow night. If I do, I will be very influenced by pain killing substances. If I do that, I might do that just because it'll be fucking comedy.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
that would
let's do
that'd be
it.
fun for the rest of
Yeah,
us to think about that.
yeah. I Percocet flowing through the body. That means I'll be very entertaining, but it will not be. Uh, it will not be. So here's the thing. So yeah, the pain quotient. The pain quotient has to get worse. Now, historically, with respect to the Carter era, like with Carter, stagflation had gone up, like unemployment went up to like 15%. And then, the inflation had gone up like 13 and a half, maybe, or maybe it was even 16. But anyway, when that happened, that was literally the double digits of both of those numbers. That was the pain point. And that was the pain point where Democrats said, whoa, 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 okay, this is bad enough. we need to do something about this. Um, Now, unlike Nixon, they didn't try to impeach Carter.
Yeah, just to be clear, just so I'm clear about what you're saying. Carter had the 4-year run from 76 to 80, but my question is, are you saying things things were bad at the beginning, middle, or are we talking at the
No, like
beginning?
the middle of Carter's term.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
all I meant.
things had gotten viscerally worse.
Right.
And when that pain started, that was the thing that caused even the staunchest of Carter allies to turn on him. Now, remember, in the early 70s, we were starting to see the um, the political shift. So, previous to 1980, I'm not defining that as a viable moment. I'm just this is kind of where this happened. Um, the liberalism in government didn't quite exist, or it didn't quite exist as much as it does now. And so you had conservative Democrats and conservative Republicans. And there were conservative Democrats who were more conservative than some Republicans. Um, an exemplification of this would be David Duke. David Duke was a Democrat.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
And David Duke was the grand dragon of the KKK. It
Yeah.
doesn't get more conservative than that. So when Carter happened, that shift caused the conservative jump, and so a lot of people who were Democrat, like live, die, breathe Democrat, jumped the ship and went to the Republican Party.
Yeah.
And so yeah. So with Trump, yeah, we have to get to that pain. When that pain point hits, yeah, I believe. Now, my lovely partner tells everybody that I'm the eternal optimist because I think that we can still save the situation, even if saving the situation means we accelerate towards the reset the whole fucking thing and start over or not. But I believe that the situation can be salvaged. But yes, those two pain points have to happen. And when they happen, I think you are going to see moderate Republicans cross the aisle because there's no way there'll be no way for them to salvage the situation inside the GOP. I think there's going to be a GOP shift, a strong GOP shift. And if you follow microeconomics and you follow political shifts that have happened over the last 200 years, this is what it has taken. It has taken a leader who, it happened with Warren Harding, who was is infinitely as corrupt as Trump is. Trump is worse than Harding, but
yeah,
after Harding, there was this dramatic political shift that happened. And of course, right after Harding, the fucking depression happened, which caused a political shift. And so if you look at the political graph, like, where we've had economic, like, happiness and joy, there's large blue gaps where Democrats controlled the House and the Senate, and there was whether there was a Republican president or not. Historically, the larger gaps of beneficial time,
yeah,
in a time in which a larger body of Democrats were in the government.
that's an interesting point because the thing I saw, and I will never forget this visual. There's a creator whose name escapes me right at the moment from uh, that I see a lot on TikTok and follow her content. But she had a great visual, which was the electoral map of the 1928 election, and then it was followed immediately by the electoral map of the 1932 election, and it was like watching, the 28 was a map of the U.S. all in red. It looked like the last election, and then you go to the 32 election after the giant crash stock market, bang, it's an entirely blue. I mean, wall to wall. There may be like one or two states that didn't flip. I mean, over to that. And it was before they did tracking things like purple states and so forth, but it was still striking, like you said, or like you were talking about it. I wonder if, we're headed down a path where it seems pretty obvious to me. Maybe I put too much uh, faith in what I think people should do and might pay attention to, but it does seem like it's pretty obvious we're headed in a bad direction on these, at least with what the obvious things are that Trump does. But it still seems like there are these holdouts, that are just like, well, okay, what happened today? I don't know. I don't care. Let me know when it's over, or something like that. And I really I get your point about the pain, and I don't want to personally go through that. I'm like, I lived through the Carter era. I lived through the 74, 76 oil embargo period,
Right.
all that horse shit. And, turning down our thermostat and putting on sweaters and all that. It
I
was,
remember
and I
that.
had,
Here's the thing, you know, Aubrey, for people that have read my biography, Aubrey is my partner, Kira. But in my biography, she's called Aubrey because I don't use real person's names but my own. But anyway, told me we were talking today, and she was like, "Did you read this?" And I was reading through it, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is bad." So here's what's bad. So we talked about this last night, Rick, and you weren't here for this. You missed it. So the last two ships that are coming from China hit um, Seattle yesterday, one of them, and the other one is coming around the Suez Canal and going up to Savannah. Outside of that, these shipyards that are in the U.S. are a ghost town,
yeah,
complete ghost town. Here's one immediate effect. Trucking companies are laying off
Trucking,
truckers.
yes.
Trucking
Trucking.
companies are laying off truckers. How
There's
many
about to be
truckers
a
do you
world of hurt in
Yeah,
trucking.
how many truckers do you think voted for Trump?
I can tell you for sure because I worked the
yeah, you
last
were in that.
election.
You've been in that.
I was in the fray and I was right there. They loved me, loved me, loved me until I hated Trump. And then, buddy, it was a vicious bloodbath when they knew that I was never going to stand down on him. Yeah, and the funny thing is that everything I said that I was fired for came true. I'm not a
Yeah.
fucking prophet. I'm barely functional when it comes to being able to track data and that kind of stuff, but I'm not an idiot. And I know, you know, the thing that I always hammered home about Trump, and the thing that is the same this time, is that it's not him that is so bad, because we know that the president, up until this point, has been pretty much a figurehead kind of thing, and really there for the dignity and the things that presidents are supposed to do. Got some steady hand, blah, blah, blah. This is before we had a president that thought we were a store and he was the fucking manager at a Walmart. I don't know. Anyway.
Right.
So I always hammered home that the thing about him was that he doesn't have the sense or the decorum to surround himself with good counsel. And we all know that good counsel makes or breaks. I'm going to come right out and say I wasn't a huge fan of Kamala, but I knew with everything in my heart that she would surround herself with good counsel, and also that she would be so hyper aware of the spotlight that she
Yes.
might be too cautious, you know? So, and to speak to your point about these large shifts, that is not how our government is supposed to work. And that's detrimental to the process. That's why we're stuck. Because
Yes.
instead of having an even flow and having, healthy opposition and a government that works as it should. We don't like this. We don't like this. Let's get together and do this instead of fuck you, and we're going to ruin you and we're going to ruin you. That's not how it's supposed to work. And we're never supposed to have these huge pendulum swings for where everybody's a Democrat or everybody's a Republican, because all it does is kill everything and try to regrow it, and kill everything and try to and it's stupid, and we're wasting so much time and money with it. So I don't believe that anything that we have going on right now is working properly. And I don't know that we can make it work properly again, because as much as the lawyers are going to save us, they have also showed us the ways around all of these things. You've got the same thing with the lawyers. You've got these and you've got these. And while they both honor the same, don't honor it, but study the same law, some study it for the right reasons, some study it for the wrong.
Yeah. Right. I got to jump in because you were talking about that circle of advisors, and I wrote something to happen to align with that today, which means that I had to do a deep dive into it. But I'm not going to go there. But what I will say is between I took notes on this so I wouldn't forget. So between Russell Vogt, OMB, that's that guy from Project 2025, Stephen Miller, who was summoned from the underworld, I truly believe,
for sure,
and Steve Bannon, who isn't directly in the orbit anymore, but he's running that media circus that supports the orbit, and Pam Bondi, and then Marco Rubio, right? So I looked across and I said, if I waited out of all the people that are just proving what a hugely fucked up execution engine that Trump's cabinet has, those. I'm sorry, I forgot Pete Hegseth. That last character, he's easy to forget, but I can't wait for him to get fired, or do something. But anyway, my point is more to the thing of you've got to have that all working like a Swiss watch, right? I mean, you've got to have, and I think during Trump V1, you had people who were like, well, let the man say whatever the fuck he wants and tweet, rage tweet in the middle of the night. I mean, no, do all that. That's fine. That's great. That's all icing, that's not cake. And so we'll take care of them. And now he knows just more than enough to be dangerous. But at the same time, the thing I'm noticing is cognitive decline in him. So it seems like every press conference there's I don't know. You might want to ask those lawyers. You might want to ask.
I left it to my lawyers. I gave it to my lawyers.
Right. There's so much deferral that goes on. I just, my head explodes because I'm like, what? Where does the buck stop, dude? Do you have any sense of, even if you're going to just deny it, your head will explode when we tell you your approval rating is so low. But what else would you expect when all you do is defer everything to your not for crap team of cabinet members that don't work together, and also, by the way, do not work in your interests. They have no idea. Their idea of working in your interests is doing exactly what you say they should do instead of what the country needs done. And I think that's one of that's going to be like the pigs off the cliff scenario for us, I think.
Well,
exactly.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm just going to comment on that and say, the moment we find out that Trump is too demented and deranged, and I'll remind you that in the last 2 years of his presidency, Ronald Reagan had full-blown Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Full-blown. And so I'm gonna draw out this reference because I think the reference is funny. Back in the 90s, there was a Kevin Kline movie with Sigourney Weaver called Dave.
Oh, yeah.
And in that movie, Dave, or Kevin Kline, played the president, and the president went into a coma. So they went and found somebody that looked just like him, and they made him be president while the actual president was in a coma. I know that's like Palpatine shit or whatever, but like unnatural means. I halfly believed that Trump could go into a coma tomorrow, and we wouldn't find out about it until like a year later.
Yeah,
Oh, what was I saw another movie that was kind of like that. It was
Weekend at Bernie's. No, back.
no, hang on, I'll think about it. And I'll get
well,
back
I
about
think
that.
and too, I'm gonna date myself when I say this. There was a Star Trek original series Star Trek episode about it where like one of the characters was the Earth guy who went to the planet and he became president, and then they drugged him up and like propped him up while the people behind him were pulling strings and shit. It, I mean, yeah, they're gonna make Trump play out for as long as he could possibly be played out before they can't play him out anymore, and then they have to admit, okay, we fucked up.
As long as they can drag that course around.
Wow. I mean that one, that's vivid. That's vivid, Wendy.
Yeah, so I'm just falling in line with this discussion. Tomorrow's Voices of a Diverse America. I went through all of Trump's campaign promises.
Oh
as of
God.
now, day one. Yeah, and
How could you find them all? But anyway, yeah. Sorry.
So Donnie of the Dong, the Don of the Dong, campaigned on turning America into a fortress, and he's wasted no time trying to build that momentum with all of his fucked up xenophobia. Within hours of taking office, he declared a national emergency at the southern border, unleashed a militarized response that has border communities swarming away. Um, here's the thing: children born on American soil have been deported.
The Substack keeps going
That's it.
on whether
That's not okay.
from computer.
And the detention facilities are overflowing.
It's just weird.
Detention counts are going.
So while I was dealing with that, Wendy pulled someone else in. So now I'm just watching it on this stupid setup.
We're hearing Miranda. Miranda, you're talking.
We can see you.
Yes, Miranda, we can hear you. Don't talk, Miranda. Somebody tell her in the chat. That's crazy. I didn't think did they. No, see, I can't invite more than 3 people into the chat.
Hey, I can pop out. I'm good. I mean, I have Miranda in. I'd like to hear what she's got to say.
Yeah. Let's. Okay. Yeah. Wendy, I'll
or
bring
me.
you back
Yeah.
at the end.
Either way.
Right on.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. There she is. Wait. Well, now you're mute. Shit. All right, Rick.
No.
Hold on a sec, Rick. Yeah. It's being weird. There we go.
Okay.
Now, okay. Can you hear me now, Miranda?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so let's get Rick back. Let's get Rick back. Where Rick? Where's Rick? God damn it, Rick! I gotta scroll all the way back up to the top of the fucking chat.
Okay. Elections Canada systems down. I haven't heard anything about that. Is that like breaking news?
Yeah, I don't know. So
the election systems thing. What was that?
The Canadian election system's down. Oh, or the Russians like swatting their voting places or some shit.
Wow, that would be interesting.
So Trump's promise to fix the immigration problem involved him invoking the Alien Enemies Act, and he's done so. And by doing so, by the way, he's turned America into a police state. But here's the thing. Here's what you don't know. The policies aren't about safety. It's about power. I don't see how it could be interpreted any other fucking way.
Well, I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to insert a comment that's very timely. I included in my article today a thing from Face the Nation where Tom Homan, who those of you that know me know he's one of my least favorite characters in the entire universe. and he said something, and I left it in at the end of the clip, and I did not comment on it in the actual body of the article. But he said, "Oh, we need more money, we need more capacity," and then he went on and said this magic part to his statement about we need to arrest the people who are the security threats to the United States, I mean, he went down a list of non-immigration related people and targets that were dead on, and he said it right on live, as far as I know, live, Face the Nation, CBS. But it was basically a list of, if you're a dissenter of any kind, you're painting a target on your back to get your ass, shipped to somewhere. And he had just got done. It's a little confusing because he just got done telling the host, and I can't remember her name, but got done telling her that when she said, "Well, you deported 4 children to Honduras," he says, "Oh, we don't deport anyone. We didn't deport any of those. We can't deport an American citizen. It's impossible. You can't do that. How can you deport somebody from their own country?" And before I wanted to punch him right through the screen, I'm like, you fuckwad. I thought to myself, man, wow. And then it was like the next paragraph into his little diatribe on that was all about, we're gonna start vacuuming up anybody who is a dissenter. And his language was clear, because I was in Final Cut Pro going back over that, listening to it just to cut it in and out. And I'm like,
Right.
man, wow, he wasn't fucking around when he said that. That wasn't my imagination,
Yeah,
because I heard it 5 times. Go
they
ahead.
they think that they're the arbiters of who a real American is.
Yeah, and it's you dead on, and that is the scary part, because I'm like, well, what happens to all of us Substack authors? Are we going to have ICE show up at our door one day that are critical of Trump? Are we going to have people who, if you don't wear the right clothes or look the right way, are we going to go into that SS Nazi shit that people just start disappearing off the face of the earth?
You have to wear a stupid got hat, or
Yeah, here I got my
Let me
MAGA hat.
let me put that into perspective for you. The language of the Alien Enemies Act, the way the language is versed, it allows an ICE individual to enter your house without a warrant. They can bust the door down to find illegal immigrants, round them up, and leave. To do that to somebody else doesn't require much more language.
Yeah, I mean,
And so,
they could think I have one in here,
yeah, Linda Simpson, you're exactly right.
yeah,
Pink triangles. When pink triangles start happening, I mean, it's going to be a problem.
We'll break that down for the people who might not know what that is. All right, so the pink triangles comment. What are we talking?
So the pink triangles were a Nazi era element.
that's how they marked LGBTQ people.
Yes.
Initially trans women and gay men.
Yep.
And so, and actually, trans women were one of the first groups that they rounded up.
Yeah.
And sent away.
Yeah.
All of the famous book burning pictures from 1933, 1934 were them burning queer literature and medical research.
Yep.
But of course, our history books and classes just teach that as, oh, they're bad because they were burning books, and they don't tell you what books they were burning.
Right.
No, and you should point out the paragraph 175 issue, which paragraph 175 stipulated that even after the war was over, LGBTQI plus people were essentially still imprisoned.
Yeah.
Even after Wendy Parker, it's like Wolverines. Okay. Can I be Leah Thompson? I want to be Leah Thompson. If we're gonna go Red Dawn, I want to be Leah Thompson. I do not want to be Jennifer Grey.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's where we are. And then on top of that, and Rick, you weren't here for that yesterday either, was ICE is actually deputizing bounty hunters, private security individuals, and paramilitia people to do that
Brown
work.
shirts, brown shirts, brown shirts.
Yeah, right. Yeah, brown shirts, brown shirts, brown shirts. Which there was the Venezuelan lady who was arrested by ICE agents, and her daughter was in the car. That post went wildfire on Blue Sky. The guys that detained her, arrested her, and carted her away were not. They were deputized ICE agents. They weren't even federal. They weren't federal agents.
And that's what I saw on there was an Instagram vid, I'm sorry, it's a TikTok vid about, and it looked like it happened down south somewhere, just given the dialect of the people talking, and the video was about the attorney for this woman that these ICE agents had shown up to do a wellness check for, and I thought, when the fuck does ICE do wellness checks? But he had his dash cam on, and then he was filming the whole thing, and he was so persistent because he was an attorney and he knew the law, and he kept going after these guys, and they were kind of like they got real uncomfortable when he showed up and told him who he was, and he was the attorney for this woman. And when they asked where she was, he responded with, it's not your fucking business. They didn't push back too hard on that. Then it started to snowball. And then it became really evident these guys did not know the law. They knew like this much of it. And this guy was pushing way beyond that boundary. And then they ended up just sheepishly, eventually putting their tails between their legs and going back to their cars, which were not federal vehicles. They were clearly, a guy had some like 1985 Toyota Celica or something like that. And He got a rusted piece of junk, saying he was an ICE agent. It's like, what in the fuck do we have going on that it would be allowed to deputize? Why do we have to deputize? What's the shortage?
Because ICE literally does not have the manpower.
Well, I'm okay, but I'm at a point where that got me thinking, and I want your opinions on this too, which is, it isn't, if we just go off the migration thread for a minute and left turn into other things that are so lacking transparency right now, like where are the calls that I would expect to be happening about from the Democrats about what the fuck Musk did with Doge during that period of time when they were raiding into the Treasury, the IRS, the Social Security. I want to know if that motherfucker's got my Social Security number and my address and everything else, and I'll bet you it's on some fucking thumb drive somewhere. That just sends me off into orbit just thinking about it, because the shit, this, Wendy, because the data encryption, right? The whole principle of it is time travel, right? It's not whether or not we can crack the code today. It's whether if I leave that fucking thing just sit there and age and let the technology do what it does, it's going to get better, faster, stronger, and cheaper to crack anything that I have a physical amount of encrypted data on. And so in 20 years, my Social Security number, assuming I'm still alive, it maybe not be cracked today, but they're going to be able to get into that shit eventually with quantum computing.
If you point a big enough of a computing resource at a
you'll
hatch,
get it. And
a hatch. Let's say a 2048-bit hash. That's 10 years of machine time.
Yeah, today.
But that's 10 years of machine time. If you can wait that long, you can crack it. Sure.
Right. So I really want to know, where are the hearings? Where are the publicized, let's get Trump up in front of Congress and ask, what the fuck did you do? And when you say you claim even just I don't care if you claim $150 of savings, how the fuck did you get to it? And give me a linear criteria-driven, rational explanation. I'm not a stupid, I'm not a stupid dipshit sitting here on this side of the TV screen that doesn't understand the basics of accounting. You tell me how you arrived at being savings, because a lot of the theories you used were bullshit from the get-go. So I'd like to hear some valid ones, and I'd like to know what data you touched. I'd like to know where you went, and that's Doge, right? And that's all the top level, call them financial information handling systems. And then there's a bunch of other systems most people don't know about, where our data is stored over the course of our lifetimes. Everything back to traffic tickets dating from 35 years ago are stored in various systems, in about 13 different systems in the US government and the federal government and databases. And so it's all of that information that I want to know. Did he have access to? Who gave it to him? What was he allowed to walk out of the building with? And not in some bullshit slick lawyer way, but I'd like to have some honest, okay, yeah, we took it. Yeah, it's on servers that are now housed at X's facilities or whatever. I'd like to know that. That's just a muskrat. And then we go on to all these other people that have fiduciary trust, basically, of the people. And there's a kleptocracy that's well and healthy under this president. Where are the Senate hearings for what is he doing with this craft shit, with his cyber currency? Who's making money? Who's depositing the $50 million what do you call it, access tickets? You know what I mean? There's a bunch of this that's just opaque, and it's extremely frustrating. I'm sorry, go ahead, Wendy.
So here is what I believe about the situation. Now, I will say there are individuals who I still converse with, because I've been in the info security field as long as I have. And one of the things that I have done over the course of my career is not burn bridges. I don't burn bridges with people, because you never know when a relationship that you had 20 years ago is going to be valuable to you now. And so, as a cybersecurity info security individual, yes, there are people that I could talk to today. I know a handful of analysts that are NSA workers. When you talk to those people, yeah, like when will then be now? We're at now. Everything that's happening now is happening now. And yes, we're literally at that point. So when does Trump get dragged into, in front of Congress to answer for the bullshit that he's done? Not until the Congress tide shifts, because the GOP, unless it gets as bad as I think it's going to get, like in the next 6 months, where
and I don't even think he knows. I'm sorry. I don't think he has a fucking clue.
Nope.
I think he could sit there and plead the fifth or whatever and go, I have no recollection, of what the hell you're talking about. And he would be telling probably the truth, but it's that orbit of people around him that I really want to hear from.
From my perspective, the people that are dangerous at the government level, Musk, all of Musk's cronies, so big balls, and all of those people. Those people, Hegseth, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
And Hegseth isn't just dangerous because he's an idiot. He's dangerous because he's careless, wantonly careless, such that he had a public internet line installed into his office at the Pentagon, so that he could have signal chats with people. What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
I know.
Are you fucking kidding me? I don't know. That's bullshit. So, in Trump's case, plausible deniability. They could drag him in front of Congress, and they could ask him, why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why did this happen? And he could play stupid and go, I have no idea.
Right. But it's a question, I guess, that those are the dots. When I say, okay, what happened to the 28% that still have some sort of a positive impression of this guy, I'd really like to understand where their point of view is coming. Why is it not 99.9%? And I realize we're in a better place when 72% or whatever the number is say he's in the shitter right now. That's fine. But I really want to understand the mindset of that 28% to get them off the couch, to get them going. Wait a minute. What you took my what? You have records of my entire financial history in your back pocket now. Oh, and that's now on a compromised computer system that big balls can go dial up and bring in.
But propaganda is so good that they don't even know these things have happened.
Really?
No.
You think that's
that cognitive dissonance, Rick, is so bad that they literally sheepishly won't follow anything other than what their leader says.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. Well,
and I worry about Congress not doing anything. A couple weeks ago, Senator Collins let slip that a lot of the members of Congress are afraid. So, and then it kind of, fizzled out because she didn't want to say too much. But
what are they afraid about? I'm curious, Miranda, because there's a lot of different things to be afraid of right now, and so it kind of matters, because if it's afraid of the executive branch, like exacting a toll on them personally, like going after their families or going after that's one thing. If it's failing to kiss the ring of Trump for an ego related short term thing, that's another. And then the third is probably what concerns me the most, which is this idea that we have career representatives and career senators, because people, if you go back and read all that work by the fine, Adams, Hamilton, and Jay, and they never envisioned that the Congress would be made of people who were career anything, and that they would do more than work for 4, 8, whatever years and be gone. And so my question is, what are they? Have we come full circle on that now, that they're afraid of losing their career and they can't find a better job?
No. So from the congressional perspective, yeah, they're worried about losing their seat. And they believe that the party, along with the people who back Trump, have enough power to primary them and remove them physically from their seat. Here's the thing. I don't think that that's true anymore, which is why I think Collins and Murkowski and a lot of these other moderate Republicans are saying, okay, the party's failing, and this needs to stop. Because as public distrust over the office gets larger, that makes the likelihood that the GOP can primary newer candidates to replace the non-loyal candidates less likely.
Yeah.
It might have been that way back in January, in terms like, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm going to fuck you up. That threat might have held water back in January, early February. We're already almost into May. And the economic situation, the immigration situation, and the every other kind of situation has gotten so bad that the GOP isn't holding on. Look at Congress. If the GOP had as much power as they say they have, the finance appropriations bill would have already been passed.
Well, yeah, and are you talking about the 2026 budget bill?
Yeah, the budget bill. That budget bill would have already been passed.
Okay, all right.
If they had, and here's the thing: the longer they wait to do that, the less likely they're going to pass it.
Yeah. Well, And no, the reason I'm reacting to that is because inside of that, I wrote about this last week. I remember was that inside of that is the biggest pile of bullshit, which is this idea there where they took Trump's 2017 tax cuts and they're basically rebaselining the budget to say that as if they were acting as if those never expire. So you add $4.2 trillion to the deficit over 10 years, in which then becomes, the debt over 10 years. And then we start adding on the other appropriation increases that they want to have happen to extend the tax cuts, the cost of all of that, to pay for Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, CHIPS, etc. And the middle class tax cut portion of that thing. And they what's happening is the whole 119th Congress, I think we're at, is the notion that they're going to slide right by the voters the fact that at the end of this process, we're going to have a ballooning debt that is going to strangle us within 10 to 15 years on just the interest payments alone, because we're going to be living in a giant deficit spending world year to year to year to year that accumulates into the debt pile, right? And that was more and more interest on. And if they, go
I want to
ahead.
add to that, Rick. Us losing our legitimacy on the world stage is going to cause us to lose our status as the world reserve.
Right there. Yes.
And so we won't be able to inflate our way out of paying our debts like we have been doing for the last 50 years.
Right. And, I'll add to that I track different topics to write about. One that fell off the list today because it was just too damn complicated to try to explain was that there is a huge outflow of money, cash, that we can measure. We can actually use real data from real sources that are publicly available. It's not a secret. You just need to know where to look, that are showing our cash basically is moving very, very quickly out of the Fed debt, basically the T-bills, the Treasury bills, into other forms. One of which is the Swiss franc, which is, it's not a good paying. That is not a high paying place to put it. It's a place you park your money on the way to somewhere else. And and there's a lot of people who think or have the theory that if you get the money out of the U.S., leave it on, as backed by something else long enough, will implode, and then the cycle can then begin again where they could bring that money back in. It's basically laundered money through Switzerland, to make a long story short. And the other thing you mentioned was that it had to do with the money situation as far as reserve status, which is one of the things I know from my historical research is that a lot of the money that we have here, and people might find this very interesting, who are in the, how does this all work club, you're asking about, is that money that financed us going back to the late 1700s. So it was around with the Revolutionary War, everything else. That money coalesced, you might not be surprised to know, in New England, and a lot of it just sat there, right? It sat in accrued interest and generation after generation after generation. And for a long time, going back to we've talked about during this live, is the Carter administration, Reagan, and through that, a lot of that money was deployed into various safe investments, but has amounted to what now makes the backbones of these gigantic investment corporations like BlackRock, etc. And that's all New England money. Now, out of that, the interesting part is West Coast Silicon Valley guys showed up to the party saying, we're recently minted billionaires. We want to join you guys. And guess what? There's a huge cultural wall there between the West Coast and the East Coast. The East Coast wants nothing to do with these people that are new money, and they're old money. So the new is looking at the old and going, well, why can't we play in the same sandbox? And the old is going, well, because you're still too young and stupid. And you have these crazy ideas about doing political upending on our system that aren't safe. And that leads us to an interesting thing of where we are right now, which is this money. If you track where it's leaving from, it's leaving the BlackRocks, leaving the Vanguard funds, all of that, which go where? Back to the New England money. And the New England money saying, hey, we're going to park our stuff over here for a while this shit sorts itself out. We don't care. We don't need to earn, 10% interest per year. We can let it go because they're generational. They think in terms of 10 generations down the line, which is something West Coast people do not. The newly minted billionaire Musks of the world don't. And
Musk runs entirely on borrowed money.
He does. And
borrowed money and subsidies.
And then to top all that off, let me feed into that even further. Trump's admission that he supports a millionaire tax.
Okay.
That's a pretty staunch reversal for trying to, but it's the billionaire people that he's trying to collude around him.
Yeah.
But
if you notice, he has a giant inferiority complex about the fact that as a New Yorker, he never made it into that upper crust of a social club. Yeah, we the mere mortals down here look at that whole situation and go, what's the fucking difference? I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be a single digit billionaire versus a double or triple digit billionaire. But he sure does, at least on paper. And he's been snubbed by those guys. He's been told, you're a fraud, you're a con, get the fuck out because we have the real money. And, that's the, I think, a bottom line thing that he's going to take to his grave as a grudge, and he is a
well, if he could do that sooner rather than later.
What?
I said if he could do that sooner rather than later.
That's absolutely, of course. And I support that idea 100%. But yes, and it's so true. But he's got that grudge and he's got the retribution, which is what I think when I first read about that the billionaire tax or him. I didn't read it that way, Wendy, which is why I didn't react to it. Which was I read it as he was backing down off of the I'm going to keep the tax cuts for the billionaires piece of it. That's how it was phrased to me. So it's a turn of word.
He's going to keep the tax cuts for the billionaires, but the millionaires will take that hit. And the GOP was like, whoa, hold on a second. You can't fucking do that. But let me put this into perspective for you. Warren Buffett. We all know who Warren Buffett is, right?
You bet.
So Warren Buffett has been very vocal about Donald Trump and what Trump is capable of, is not capable of, whatever. Warren Buffett has literally said tariffs are actually, we've had a lot of experience with them and they're an act of war.
Yeah.
I feel like Warren Buffett is saying that tariffs are an act of war. That means fucking quit it. He then said over time, they are a tax on goods. The tooth fairy doesn't fucking pay them. Americans do. And then,
that's right.
The big problem with Donald Trump is he was never right. He's basically overpaid for properties. He got people to lend him money, and he's terrific at borrowing money. He's horrible at making it. I want to remind you, he bankrupted a casino.
Yeah, 2 of them, 3 of them, maybe.
How the fuck do you do that? And then further still, in 2019, Buffett said, if we actually have a trade war, it'll be bad for the whole world. Everything intersects in the world now.
Yeah, it does.
Warren Buffett is saying that?
Yeah.
And Trump thinks that tariffs are going to save the country?
And I wouldn't care if Buffett was part of the libertarian fucking, socialist party. It wouldn't matter to me. That guy's a smart dude who's been on this earth a long time, who's got a lot of reasonable things to say about money. Right now, if he starts giving me recipe hints, I'm not going to take those. But the money topic, check. Credibility, check. Believability, super big check. So yeah, I'm always interested in hearing what he's got to say because he's generally dead on. He didn't accumulate that level of wealth by being arrogant and by being glitzy and gold plating everything and sticking, that have you seen the latest piece of art in the White House there where it's a Donald Trump picture? If you go onto Truth Social, you can see it on his image. It's the flag superimposed across his face like he's got war paint red, white, and blue. He looks like a fucking idiot. But anyway, he's got that.
Because he is a fucking
I know that. I'm sorry. Caption. It's been a long day. Okay. I might say a few things here. Okay. Just roll with it, please. Anyway, but the point is, Buffett, yeah, I listen to the guy about money. I don't know what his politics are. I don't give a shit. But I can listen to somebody without knowing one thing and believe them in another. And that's a fine place for me to be. So that's an interesting angle to it. And he does not have any raw sense for government itself. If you think about how he has surrounded himself with his cabinet, I indict him first. I mean, the only thing he needed to do was get some reliable people around him to recommend who the fuck should be on the cabinet back in December and after the election in November, right? And then, if you come up with a good, strong list of people that are going to be good advisors to you that don't involve strapping a polygraph to your ass every, month to see if you're loyal to him, Jesus Christ, they're practically doing that. And it's like tethering, it's like putting a chain around somebody's neck attached to a barbell that goes down to the ocean floor. They're gonna they're gonna have all those people sink themselves, and all half the people that got into that cabinet should have recused themselves from consideration the minute it came up. It was idiots like Hegseth who were too arrogant to know what was best for the country, and they are not capable of doing the job because they're so fucking full of themselves. And Rubio's the same way, Bondi's the same way. Everybody I've got on my shit list is the same way because it's not a personal thing. It's a shit. You're gonna tank the whole country. You're not gonna know when to hit the brakes, and that's the problem. You're not gonna know when to say no.
Hey, I gotta go. So it was good chatting with y'all.
Take care.
Thank you, Miranda.
Yep. So it was good seeing her. I love when she comes on. It's all I hope I didn't. If I gave her room to talk, went on a rant.
No, I mean, Rick, when you and I get on, we rant. That's our normal mode of operation, I think. But you're not wrong. I mean,
yeah.
I just don't. I don't think that. Yeah, I just don't.
And I don't know where, I want to get these protests seem, I don't know if it's just my lack of being correctly informed, but it feels like these protests, the 50-51s are hello.
I'm sorry. I love to coax people.
Hi. Hi, Geraldine.
Hi. I love to coax people. All right, Geraldine, you're now on live of Wendy the Druid. You have 5 minutes. You can ask me any question. I'll answer it.
Well, actually, I guess what could we be doing at a local level to actually do anything? Obviously, protests are getting some news.
Are you a subscriber of the publication? Do you read the shit that I write?
I only recently got Substack, so
okay. So
well, welcome. First of all, right?
First of all, welcome. I do. So the posting structure. I should explain the posting structure because you're new. Yay! We have. By the way, I really love your top. It's really cute. Regardless, so there's a meditation post in the morning because I'm a druid and I am encouraged to share my druid tree hugging activities. That's paired with another therapy session And then there's the Voices of America post, which is the daily update. I always pair the Voices of a Diverse America post with another post called The Actions of a Diverse America, which is literally I answer all of the shit that has been posted in the Voices post with what can you do locally? And I do that every day until people tell me stop flooding my email with your bullshit because I'm tired of receiving it.
Well, I think you could talk to it would probably be a good help for Geraldine to have an overview of what kind of things that appear there.
So
and I got to drop off the two-way for a moment, so I'm gonna, but I'll still be here. I just have to take care of something quick, and I'll be back. So I'll.
All right. Well, it's just you and me, Geraldine. Okay. So, let me yank up the yesterday's Voices post because that's a really good one.
Okay.
Or actually Fridays. I think Fridays was a better one. Voices. So there's Voices. Where's the Actions post from? Shit. Really? Actions of a Diverse America. Here we go. So the 22nd one, this one's really good. So, economic resistance. So the consignment economy. So you can start community clothing swaps, thrift strategically, learn basic sewing skills, form buying collectives. Those are things that you can do locally. Local supply chain building, support local manufacturers, start community gardens, skill sharing networks. I basically network the community. On the Democratic defense side, go to every goddamn town hall.
The group I'm part of is actually going to be lobbying with our state house on Wednesday. So there's a House Bill 96 that got shoved through the House already, and they stuck this 1,100-page rider on it that had a bunch of anti-trans legislation in it.
Yeah, so the anti-trans shit here in Georgia, I'm actually connected with two of the orgs in Georgia. Can I ask which state you're in?
Ohio.
Oh, okay, Ohio. Well, Rick, that's the state Rick is in. That's the state Rick is in. Attend every town hall. Just go to every town hall.
Okay.
And then I hate saying this to people, but run for office.
Maybe I should.
And then you run for office. But then too, neighborhood democracy watchdogs. So here in Atlanta, a really big problem during the Trump election was that.
So I community garden.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
And I'm already teaching myself sewing and fixing things, and I'm actually working on.
Okay, right. So that's beautiful.
And then I'm actually I got thrifted. Well, I rebuilt that one already, and I'm in the process of rebuilding that bicycle for my friend. So.
Oh, you're a cyclist?
Yes.
Wow, I used to be one of those a long time ago. Yes. Yes, until I went up to Burnaby Park in Vancouver, and I tried to mountain bike down an intermediate Canadian trail, and I found out that intermediate Canadian trails are like advanced American trails, only a little more crazy. A little more crazy.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, because my parents live in the Bay Area, and so. But also my partner, who is also a trans person, she's not a mountain biking person at all. So
I'm more of a trail bike. I mean, they're hybrid bikes. I usually get that just so you can trail if you want.
Right.
And I do have the cleats for mine, but I'm not building friends that way because she's not.
Yeah, I could never get the hang of locking pedals.
It varies by by brand. The ones I had the easiest time with were probably I think they're Beater Brothers. Their symbol is like a egg beater, like a mixer.
Oh,
But that's what I had on my previous bike. But I also am, and if you can see in the background there, I've got 2 different kinds of 3D printers. So I'm taught myself how to do that.
Your setup was brilliant. Yeah. So basically, I'm gonna do a name drop. My dad is best friends because they were friends back in the 70s with Keith
Yeah.
Bontrager.
Doesn't ring a bell.
He's the guy that popularized mountain biking frames.
Yeah.
And then he went on to Trek. So occasionally, like in certain mountain biking crews, you'll see Bontrager frames.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear the last name, but yes, I know that name.
Yeah, Bontrager. So my dad's been friends with him for a very long time.
That's awesome.
I have a very weirdly connected family. I'll send you a DM and then you'll just be like, "Oh, okay." Are you a video game person?
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
other part of my setup.
Are you a board game person?
I do also play board games, but this is my gaming setup behind me. So there's like 3 monitors.
Well, I mean, look, there's my baby.
Mine's older. It's actually an old Leanne Lee case that I harvested and repurposed, but I had to cut a hole in the side of it because it didn't have enough ventilation for the video card that's in it. So,
Which card do you have?
It's still a 2070 Super Ultra, but yeah, there's a non-factory hole in the side of this thing.
Oh, well, I just bought this XTX 7900 24 gig.
Well,
and that's like the fastest card I've ever had.
By trade, I was a computer person. That's where the geeky. I actually misheard you earlier. I thought you said kinky. I'm just like, oh, I joined the wrong video feed.
No, I've been in info security for 30 years.
So, well, you might recognize a Fortinet.
Oh my God, Fortinet!
Fucking
things are horrible.
Yeah, well, I'm trained in those. Well, it's a very specialized version of Linux. It's a lot better than a frickin' Cisco. An ASA is terrible. I know how to program those too, but
I mean, if you're going to spend that kind of money, just buy a Juniper SRX. I mean,
but Juniper's had the worst fan problem though. Their fans would die.
I haven't been in network engineering in 15 years. I started.
They used to be good. No, I know exactly what you're talking about because I was still working on watch cards at that point. Like, you know who they are. The ones that they're fireboxes.
I will never admit this openly, but I was checkpoint certified at one time.
I worked on a lot of checkpoint systems in my previous life. I had to get FBI background checked like yearly because of the work I was doing. So
yeah, I did DoD contracts when I was young, and I got so tired of that I had to get the fuck out of it. And by that time, I'd met her, my partner, who was also trans, by the way, and she is a senior threat hunter.
Nice.
Yeah, senior manager of threat intelligence and threat hunting. I brought her up because she's younger than I am.
Cool. And I didn't know if you could see this from the background, but I got an official print of. That's. And this actually was. I won this at. That it's actually got like from the actual creator.
Oh, we're gonna be friends later. Miranda, just be aware. I might throw another person in the Discord server.
Oh, you're on Discord?
Oh, I'm trans, of course.
Well, I've joined like 10 different servers in the past year, just in all the groups that I'm part of that I'm volunteering through. But so Trans Unity Coalition is the one that's going to be in the State House on Wednesday. And we're actually just currently trying to find any LIPs, licensed independent practitioners, who can speak on the anti-trans factors in the bill, because there's some really harmful stuff in that bill. Oh, hi.
Sorry, I missed that. I put my phone down.
Oh, that's okay, Wendy.
I'm sorry.
I know you're being a bitch and you're ignoring me and shit.
I'm unstable again.
It says you're unstable, Wendy.
Everybody knows. It's a fucking thing.
Just your internet connection, though.
Yeah, Wendy's very.
No, it's me too. I'm sure it's me.
Yeah, Wendy's very unstable.
I'm in Ohio too, friend. Geraldine, right?
Yes. Yeah, I was just talking about.
Yeah, so I'm in Dayton.
I'm with a. I'm in Dayton.
Fuck yeah, let's get together. Do you know Lily's?
Yeah, I know Lily's. I was actually just showing him the. I've got the community garden right outside my window.
When you showed that, I was like, that looks like the community. Are you in South Park?
I'm sorry?
Shit, yeah.
No, that's Grandview.
That's Grandview. Nice.
So if I need an emergency room, I can just walk there.
Fuck yeah, let's do it. I'm serious. I'm very serious. Very friendly place. I don't know if you've been there.
If you do that, Wendy, you have to take pictures and shit.
Well, hell yeah, I will. And I sewed,
and then you have to send them to me so I can post them.
I'm just now picking up sewing again. I had home ec class back in middle school, and I still remember a lot of that. So I picked up I think I've got a brother sewing machine, and I'm trying to teach myself how to sew again.
Man, I've got several, and I just hack around in here. But I am the captain, the Moo Moo Queen. My Substack handle is MF and Moo Moos, but my little Moo Moos that I make for people have a little tag in them that says motherfucking Moo Moos. So I feel like you might have to have a Moo Moo. I don't know. They come on me sometimes, and the Moo Moo. I'm bringing back the Moo Moo baby. We're gonna do a Moo Moo day at Lily's soon.
Yeah, I've driven by Lily's dozens of times, and I've never gone there. So,
oh my god, it's such a cool place. You'll love it. I told you, Wendy, that's the place I wanted to take you. If you come, when you come,
no, I'm gonna come up there.
Are you active in the LGBTQ center at all?
What's that?
Are you active at the LGBT center in Dayton?
Have I been there?
Yeah, are you active in it at all in any of the communities there?
Well, I'm which LBG. I'm not aware, no, of the center at all. But I would absolutely be. No.
It's got the rainbows and flags all over. You can't miss it.
Well, I just retired from Miami Valley Hospital, early medical retirement. I was on the floor there as a nurse, and honestly, I've lived in the city for the last 4 years, and I have not haven't been very active at all because that's all I did was work at the hospital, and it's a great hospital, but it's a terrible life. Anyway, I just got reconnected to a bunch of my trans friends and gay friends and the little Oregon district community down there. I have just a lot of really close connections with them. So very friendly, good people. They probably have better resources than I do, but I am willing to jump right in anywhere that there's help needed.
Cool. Yeah, we usually meet at Yellow Cab over there. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I don't drink.
Yellow Cab had a good show last night, actually. I feel like we've hijacked it. We'll talk too. You're on Substack now?
Yeah.
Yes, so I'm now sending Geraldine all the critical information.
All the critical. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Miss Critical. She takes care of the good shit. I just fuck around. And they write about all the real solid shit, and I just really make fun of things. So that's what I do.
I am recently disabled, so I'd worked since I was 16, and I'm going through a nasty divorce, and she kind of ruined my ability to go find gainful employment. So I just said, screw it. I could have done this 10 years ago. I filed for disability, and I just got it in January. So it's not great.
Good for you.
I don't like having this.
Geraldine, I'll tell you, you're doing better than I am. I'm an unemployed InfoSec person who got fired for being trans.
I got fired for the official notice was, and I worked for PwC, PricewaterhouseCooper. My company got bought a couple of years ago by them as a whole, and by the time I was getting shoved out the door, 80% of my cohort was gone. They had bought our whole company just to remove the competition. And I was working on my project that I had finished January of 2023 was Walmart of North America and Canada. Their payroll system, they had moved it into a new SAP system without permission, and they hadn't filed their plans or anything, and they got in trouble. So the company in, and I came in, and over 4 months, I picked their system apart, and we planned out a tabletop and then a real world cutover. And I got canned because I raised the alarm when I found out that their standalone environment for the recovery environment, where they were going to test this with the actual payroll backup, was live. And I could touch the production network, and they didn't know it. And I alerted my managers to it, and they wanted to finish the project early. So they swept it under the rug. They're just like, don't tell the customer about it. They probably know about this already. And everything in my training, it said, if you see something, say something. If there's something that could hurt the firm or hurt a customer, report it. And I did. I escalated above my.
That's just sad.
It was legitimate. I had spent 2 weeks gathering the information to show why I was suspicious of this. And when I showed the InfoSec person at Walmart's division there what I found, he said, "How did you get this information?" I mean, I had like the MAC addresses of the firewalls in the data center in Colorado. And then he said, "You shouldn't be able to get this." And I said, "I know. This is a huge problem. This is your production network. I'm just a standard contractor, and I can see this." And his face went white. And they had to change the plans because if I had let this happen, they would have crashed all of North America's payroll because Canada was still attached to the US, which is what was waiting to transfer into this new system. So somehow my project ended up on the top 10 wins for the entire firm for PwC for the year. It was they had a top 10 list at their fiscal year ended in July that year. I still got the slides and everything from that. But they let me go because I was not performing up to my peers. I had been out from March 7th. I had, I don't know if you can see this surgical scar. I had 2 artificial discs installed in my neck because I have spinal problems, part of why I'm disabled. And but I had stayed and completed this project, even though I was in horrible pain and couldn't sleep.
And they fired you because you weren't performing.
Yeah, well, the 2 managers were salty over me going over their head, and they waited until I went on FMLA because they knew I was going on FMLA, and then they left their reviews, these retaliatory reviews, and they based my performance on those. And I was on FMLA, so I couldn't sign into the systems and validate or dispute those reviews, which you're normally supposed to be able to do. And so I didn't get to dispute them, and they became part of my record because I didn't dispute them.
That's crazy.
So that's why I'm not working for them. But I had the company that I worked for, I'd worked for 2 years, and they loved having me on projects because as they said it, I'm the person who's not afraid to call the baby ugly. I would find the problems in the customer environment. And I would tell them, this is what's wrong, and this is how we fix it. And that was something that was valuable in InfoSec because you don't poo-poo and make the customer happy and complacent when you've got serious problems, or it's going to cause a problem if you migrate it to Azure. You tell them this is what's up, and they wanted me on projects because of that. I worked on a project for it was Inspire Brands. If you don't know who they are, they own BW3s, Arby's.
I know who Inspire Brands is.
So I created a system that they moved from it wasn't Checkpoint, it was the other one that Dell owns, but they had those firewalls in every location at every Arby's location in North America. And they wanted to be able to migrate those to FortiGates with APs. And I figured out a way to do what Fortinet said was impossible, which was we scripted the commands from a FortiManager to pull the configurations from their initial firewalls, created everything exactly as it was in a FortiGate instead. And all they had to do was take the new firewall to the site, plug it into an internet connection, wait about 20 minutes while it downloaded the config, downloaded the appropriate firmwares, and upgraded itself. And then they could just unplug the old firewall and plug the other one in with the same ports and have everything up and running. And we automated this, and that was huge fun. I loved doing that. That was awesome. We just had this monster spreadsheet with every configuration for every firewall and in their locations, and it was. But that's the kind of work I do. So, sorry.
No, I'm clearly the internet in Dayton just entirely sucks because it's either you or I. We are both unstable, which I find charming. But that has been my problem.
That's the funny thing is I've got like corporate level firewalls. That's like a $400 or $500 firewall up there. The Wave 2 device.
Well, I'm not going to spin the camera around and show my catalyst switches. You'll make fun of me.
Well, let's not. That's not. So, I'm gonna have to pop off soon because I have to do my old lady gig at 9:00 and do the medicine.
I got Overwatch, bitch, over here, like giving me
Overwatch. See, I do not play games, so I'm not. Actually, you guys are good. You talk about making fun of somebody. This is
I'm gonna have to see if you know. This is one of the 3D things I printed first. Let's see if you know who this is. I haven't painted her yet, but she's primered. And yes, she's holding a little miniature takeout bag from Japan.
I can't tell. Who is it?
That's America from Elden Ring. But I thought it was hilarious because my little sister gave me this little. It's actually got like a little ramen udon meal and such in it.
That's brilliant. Yeah, Geraldine, we'll be having a conversation. I sent you a very lengthy Substack.
Thank you.
Oh no, of course. But yeah,
did you follow the Mark Twain rules of I didn't have time, or I would have written a shorter email.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I'm a firm believer in should have been a meeting, should have been an email.
Well, brevity is not my strong suit.
Hey, you're in good company.
I was an IBMer for 5 years. That should tell you something.
AS400?
Yes.
I programmed in assembly. So
that was when I went to Georgia Tech in '91, my college computer was a Spark 4.
I actually salvaged a couple of Spark 20s and turned them into Linux servers in my apartment when I was at OSU.
I have a stack of 20 of the Pizza Box.
Yep.
Wendy.
I can't let them go though because those are beautiful machines.
They were powerful too. I mean, it's only 200 megahertz. Oh, but it's a PowerPC processor.
Yeah, that's a Spark proc. People don't. Look when you tell. Okay, I'll tell you an IT story and then we'll close for the night. But every time I have interviewed hundreds of people for jobs, and so I Georgia Tech grad that I interviewed like 5 years ago. We sat down and I asked him, I'm like, okay, I went through all the questions and he was a Java developer. And I was like, okay, I hate Java people who,
C++,
Pascal. Yeah, right.
Turbo Pascal.
With that, that's mathematical. I'm okay with that.
I love Turbo Pascal.
I'm like, do you understand do you understand AS400 architecture? He's like, no, what's that? And I'm like, IBM P series. He's like, I still have no idea what. And I looked at him and I said, okay, so there are systems that were made 25 years ago that batch process data faster than your laptop will now. And he literally looked at me and said, bullshit. And I went, nope. it's not going to work out. You're going to leave.
What I loved about assembly is it's one-to-one instructions. It's so elegant and so simple.
Oh, we'll have a conversation later, and I think you will understand that I agree with that very simply and very appeasingly, and then you'll know why. So, yeah, I'm 53 years old. I've been around the block a few times, and so younger kids, I will just say this. There are an entire generation of kids who are growing up that think that x86 is how computers work. And you guys can quote me on all this. I literally believe that opinion is uneducated and completely moronic.
I think it's a bit risky. Processor fun though. RISC.
I can see we're going to get along. I can see we're going to be okay. All these kids are like, well, x86 architecture. I'm like, no, it's
Now my favorite quote they had on my professor's wall was a computer system without COBOL and Edlin is like a nice piece of chocolate cake without ketchup and mustard.
Yeah, you definitely need to read my pick apart, and I published it like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, about the Doge COBOL fuck up. Where
which one?
There are people who are 156 years old that are collecting Social Security benefits because that subsystem was written entirely in COBOL because of the date switch language. Yeah. I took one look at that code stretch and I was like, oh yeah, this is that problem. Do they not get that? That's a thing. If the field's empty, it just goes to whatever date. That's probably not 156 years old.
No, and so they lost me the minute they couldn't figure out how to place a decimal point. Oh, we saved taxpayers $8 billion. That's you added an extra 3 zeros to that. That's $8 million.
Yeah, you calculate that it correctly. So yeah. Anyway,
so question for you: left merge or right merge?
Right.
Hey, just checking. SQ.
You're going to read that DM and then you're going to know why it is that I answered that way. Okay. Ladies, thank you.
Yeah.
My bitch is giving me side eye.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll probably talk to you on Discord or.
Trust me, there's going to be a conversation.
You and I can get together locally. Message me through Stack. I'm one of the contributors on Wendy's, and I've got my own little thing too. So whatever. And my dad was a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech.
Nice.
He was, and you know what he went for? He was a draftsman. I still have his little draftsman kit. It's little pencils. I mean, this was before computers. He did the
guy.
Did it have the little rotary pencil sharpener?
Yeah.
Oh God, it's got the whole thing. It's the kit that they got when they went for drafting school at Georgia Tech. And God, that was.
Did you still have his pocket protector?
19, yeah.
And the slide rule?
1969. Right on. Go, Dad. It's been going a long time.
I feel like as toxic as it is, I now have to go watch Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh boy. All
That's
right.
still a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, that movie's super toxic. All right, well anyway.
Hey kids. Yeah, right. Hey, good luck tomorrow. Who's gonna let us know how everything goes? Is someone gonna
I will tell Kira to tell Miranda and then she'll update everybody after the surgery's over. Surgery's at 11:00. So my pre-op is at like 9 or whatever. And then
are you gonna be at are you going to Grady or where are you going?
Oh no, Piedmont.
Piedmont, right on. Good for you. Okay.
Yeah, Piedmont Hospital. Fuck Grady. No, shit, hell no. So yeah, once I'm out.
Well, that's where I was born. They dropped me on my head.
So I'll be out of post-op by I think 2 or 3 o'clock.
All right.
Good luck.
Because it's all like down there work. So
right on. Well, it's very vascular, and you might bleed, and you know all of this already. But Nurse Wendy tells you that that's going to be a problem. So just watch for it. Don't eat. You know what not to do. But Nurse Wendy will reiterate that to you from Nurse Wendy's point of view.
I Kira will update.
I'm Nurse Wendy, and she's Druid Wendy. Geraldine, you'll get it. It's fine. Anyway, love you guys. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the opportunities.
Always.
Thanks for bringing me on.
Talk to you soon, Geraldine.
I do it to everybody, Geraldine. Oh, okay. Thank you, Janie, very much. So I want to tell all of you again, if you're a paid subscriber, thank you for being a paid subscriber. As you can see, we have a lot of fun here. We're very connected. We're a family. We treat all people fairly and like family members. And I run the publication this way because I want all of you all to feel that family warmth and that family feeling. So if you're a paid subscriber, thank you for being a paid subscriber. If you're a free subscriber, thank you for being a free subscriber. Continue sharing the stuff that we put out because everybody should know it. Everyone should experience it. I want you all to be safe out there, please. We can't get through all of this bullshit if we're not together with each other. And we just need all of us together. So stay strong. I love you all and be safe out there.